Because I don't have an impossibly large list of Halloween projects already on my plate, go off on a tangent and a different kind of project. What I'm going to do is I'm going to build a screen printing press. I'm not quite sure how the hell I got onto this kick here, but I started doing some research on screen printing, and I'm like hooked on it now. So I've found some plans online, and I'm going to try and build my own pick press. There's a choice between you have a rotary press and what's called a pick press, where you pick the silk screen up and switch the screen out, as opposed to rotary, which, as its name implies, spins around so you can do multiple colors. I'm basing my design on what I found online, and looks like it should be a do-it-yourself project. I've seen like a bunch of haunters have UDO machines, so this is kind of along the same lines as that, about the same size. But this is a homemade unit, and apparently from what I've seen, you can actually do really professional work with this kind of system. So I'm going to try my hand at it and see if I can do some silk screening. I've noticed everybody's printing up t-shirts, and perhaps that's what first gave me the suggestion to look into it more. But it looks like it's affordable, and which is always good with me. I know like the UDO machines can run upwards of $100, and you can get them for about $50 on when they're on sale, like at Michael's or something like that. This would probably run you about the same amount of money, somewhere around $50+ or so, once you get all the wood and materials that you're going to need. But apparently the UDO machine has some limitations, which this unit that I'm going to try and build doesn't have. So we're going to see how well it works. I don't think this is going to exactly be a how-to thing, more as just a work in progress. I think that if I build this, might be able to make some t-shirts for hunters. So we'll see how that goes, and you'll be able to see my progress here. It might be something you want to try out yourself. So I'm going to start reducing the size of the melamine. It's a 16-inch by 8-foot long piece of melamine, and from this piece you can get all the parts that you need for your pick press. And you'll get a base, which is what I'm going to be cutting now, a couple of platens, an adult size platen, a smaller platen, a child's platen, a sleeve platen. Now a platen is the part that you actually start printing on, that the screen attaches to when you're going to print. So you can get all those parts, plus there'll be additional parts, including a screen holder and things like that. But again, you can get all that from a this piece of melamine. $21. They didn't have a 8-foot long by 16-inch wide piece in their lumber department. They only had it in the shelving department. So that meant that it was edged, and they charge you, I guess, $5 extra for that edging, not the sides or the back. So, like I said, normally it's about $15, $16 for a piece of melamine. This was about $20, $21. I'm tend to want to be one that tempts fate and rarely wears safety goggles, but got these at Harbor Freight Tools for 99 cents. So I picked up a couple of pair, and I figured I can actually wear them. So what I'm going to be doing is cutting the board down to size. I'm going to would like to use my sliding compound miter saw. Got that at Harbor Freight Tools, but it doesn't reach all the way across the full 16 inches. So what I'm going to have to do is use a circular saw and cut the pieces down to size. And I can then trim them up on my table saw out there. Now what I've done is I've marked out the line. You can see it underneath the piece of tape. So the base is going to be 16 inches wide by 20 inches long. And I've covered up the line with a piece of masking tape, so that when the circular saw is cutting the line, it doesn't chew up as much the melamine. If you didn't have something covering up this line and the blade is cutting through the wood, it would splinter and crack right along the edge. So I'm trying to minimize the amount of tear out that's going to happen. So by covering up your line with a piece of masking tape, you can still see your line underneath. By covering that up, it minimizes, doesn't eliminate, but it minimizes the amount of tear out that you're going to get. So I'll be cutting down the entire piece of melamine to all the sizes that I need. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I've cut the first piece off the melamine, and so now I'm taking the tape off, and as you can see, it's minimized the amount of chip out that occurs on the edge of the board. Now if I hadn't done that, all these pieces would be a lot bigger. What I'm going to end up doing though with these is I'll end up sanding down the edges and rounding over the edges as well with my router, and that'll create no sharp edges on the side for the material or anything to get cut with. So I've got the first piece here. Still got the tape on here, and this is the base. And I'll be cutting down the rest of the pieces now. I've cut out the base and the various platens that I'm going to need. The two towers, the screen holders, they're two towers that stand erect, and they hold your screen like a wet screen. If you're printing multiple colors, you pull one screen off, put it into the rack, then you can put the other screen on and then continue printing without having to lay a wet screen down on a table or something somewhere. And that's one last thing I want to mention here, is that although this is nominally a 16-inch wide board, the actual dimension on it is 15 3/4, just so you're aware of that. So when you buy a 16-inch wide board, you're actually short on the thing. So again, not critical on this, but certainly something to be aware. So these, the base and these platens actually aren't 16 inches wide, but 15 3/4. So when I'm building the screens later on, I got to keep that in mind. Otherwise, the screen won't fit. Actually, it will, because of some micro tuning adjusters we're going to be putting on there. It really won't matter, but still, it'll be a much larger distance that it'll have to cover, because it's that extra 1/4 of an inch, if I wasn't aware of it when I'm building the screen. Last night I got all my the base and the platens built. Got this here. This is the small platen with the support pieces underneath, held in by pocket screws, so that the top stays nice and smooth. This is the child's and sleeve platen. That way it's all one piece, and that way it can use one screen. And then the adult platen. Edges on all the pieces have all been rounded off and routed so that nothing catches. And this is the base here, cut the size. Got the tower pieces here and the tower bases, and I'll be getting to that today. What I'm going to be doing now is cutting the spring back piece, which is going to be this 2x6. It'll be ripped down to 4.5 inches high, 8 inches long, and that'll serve as the backing for a plunger. This will be the plunger here, and it'll slide in and out on a spring. to hold the screen up against the platen. That's what we're doing today, and then pretty much we'll be done with the press itself, although not with the project. I'll still have to build the screens, stretch the fabric over the frame, and then I should be ready to go. I bought some ink the other day, bought some PV emulsion that actually reacts with light, and be using a 500 watt halogen lamp to do that, and it looks like we'll be good to go. So going to be ripping that backer piece now and getting it all ready to go. Here is the finished pick press. Got the base here. You've got the platen. This is the adult size platen here. And this is the spring back. So when you place the screen over the top of the platen, this presses up against here, and it holds it in place. This will need to be adjusted a little bit. You have a wing nut back here so that it can actually come out further if you needed to. So this is about the thickness, 1.5 inches of a screen. So that'll fit right in there, but as I said, you can even go further with it. Holding it there, just like that. And now when this comes in, it'll hold it in place. And then on the side, there'll be micro tuners that'll hold it side to side, from here to here. And pull your shirt over the top here, lay the screen on top, and then be able to print. Very sturdy. When this is bolted into the ground or clamped to a tabletop, it won't go anywhere. Okay. Hopefully I'll be able to start printing soon. We'll be continuing on with the project, working on the stretching the screen, building the frame of the screen, and using some chiffon material for the actual silk screen. When I want to get into more intricate detail, I'll actually upgrade to real screen material. But for the kind of broad images I'm initially planning, I think the chiffon material will work just fine. Alright, if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel and check out my blog, www.devilseve.blogspot.com. Thanks for watching.